Hello, this is Angelo with your project Next Accelerator Bonus, and this is Digital Growth Masterclass number 19. So, as I promised to you last week, we're going to leave mindset aside for a few masterclasses and focus on the fundamentals of success in digital marketing. So, as I told you before, in a nutshell, my dot is mindset, and more specifically, if you wish, helping others, first of all, number one, admit to themselves their ideal goal, their ideal destination, as I like to say it. And number two, find a path to success through happiness. So make happiness the journey rather than the destination. This is why you hear me a lot use the phrases, number one, you deserve everything you want, and we all deserve your best self. And number two, I am happy and march unstoppable towards my vision. So that said, this is my dot, right? Or you can see it here. So this is my dot. But what you probably, are wondering is why I want to share with you such details in with regards to digital marketing. What's the deal with digital marketing? So basically, there is another dot. And this other dot is something that I have developed before I even realized that I am hooked to personal development and hooked to helping others. So, a little overview of how this got started. Back in 2007, I started my own business in the renewable energy sector. And I realized that what I wanted to do was, too far-fetched, for the Greek market. So I had to think, like outside of the borders of Greece. So I thought of maybe moving to the US or maybe moving to California, with more forward-thinking people. But at that point, it was virtually impossible for me to do so. I didn't have the resources, the money, the patience, and even the courage and the faith to do so. But this is where I stumbled upon digital marketing and I realized I don't have to move from Greece. I just want, like a digital marketing strategy and find a way to communicate my vision, my products and services and so on, through the digital channels. I can be anywhere in the world and do it. And, back in 2008 now that I was doing this, that I started, thinking this way, you can imagine that everything was fresh, right? Facebook was only 4 years old back in 2008. Basically, I was one of the first advertisers on Facebook. So what happened was that, as I tend to do with any other thing in my life, I was like, I made like a complete immersion in digital marketing and I started learning this and that and the other and learning from the best. And within a few months, many of my teachers, my mentors have become my clients. So back then, my problem was that even though I wanted to do, something like revolutionary with the environment, I didn't have what I call a cash cow, like I always use when I communicate my vision to others, I use the example of Toyota and its Prius. So when Toyota introduced the Prius, the hybrid vehicle to the marketplace, what they had was also the like mainstream Toyota with all the other models, feeding the Prius. So Toyota basically had patience for years and years and years feeding, the new baby, the hybrid. So this is what I wanted to do, like start with digital marketing and start feeding my dreams in renewable energy, let's say. And this is what I keep doing up until today. This is how, like, digital marketing and our clients here in Greece and abroad are basically the number one cash cow for our business so that we can grow other things, more far-fetched projects that require more patience with regards to, like becoming profitable. So, that said, I have developed quite an expertise in digital marketing as well, and a sense of what works and what doesn't. And one, let's say, of my key, like difference makers with regards to digital marketing is that I never ever got, like sidetracked from likes, follows, shares, and so on. I always remembered what really mattered, and that was, delivering great value and receiving, enough profit that makes sense. Okay? So many people are hooked to likes. And, from the very early days, I was always telling others that amateurs like likes, pros like profits. So, what I want to talk to you about today as we move on to this, digital marketing mini series within the masterclasses, I want to talk to you about the specific strategy that you have to have in your mind. It's like a very simple roadmap because we tend to get overwhelmed with this, that, or the other. And I will do my best to complement what you learn at Project Next, not, like derail and overwhelm your mindset with more stuff that fit nowhere and you have to choose between what I say or what Dean says and so on. I just want to give you like a brief overview and pay good attention, or as I like to say, invest great attention right now. All right? Even if your mind says, I know this, I get this, I want you to always ask yourself this: is this part of my operating system or not? Not like what Angelo is saying right now is like elementary and I know this and bye bye, Angelo. I want you to ask yourself always, is this part of my operating system? Am I applying this to actually grow my digital business, my digital product, to create a more powerful, more successful launch? This is what matters. So, I want you to remember that all you need, this is like a phrase borrowed from Russell Brunson, right? All you need is one funnel. All you need is one funnel. And the funnel, consider the funnel like, the factory that starts from, like all your possible clients and ends up to the ones that actually give you money for the product or service that you deliver. So, I want you to remember that you want when you're getting started and when you want, like to take yourself to the next level of success, if you're overwhelmed and you need like a restart, like a jump start, you have two core funnels to choose from. This is what I found out is like what, like could sidetrack you so easily if you don't have this simple roadmap in your mind. So, why are we here in the first place? Why have you invested in Project Next? Why are you watching me right now? There is a very simple reason, and when we simplify our thinking, everything becomes so clear. You're here because you want to monetize your digital product and make your first sale if you're, just getting started, or grow your sales to the level that you want and you cannot do it yet, right? So, this is why you're here. This is why you're here, to grow. Okay, since you're here to grow, what you have is like, or what you intend to have like in a few days or a few weeks, right? You intend to have like a sales page, right? And this is like the last step of the process, to go from your sales page to what we call cha-ching, to make this sale, right? This moment that, like the credit card is processed is the moment, the last step of your digital sales funnel. So this is what I've learned. Maybe it's, it goes way back, but what I've learned was the process that Churchill was creating, the battles in his mind before they even began, before they even, like being, approved. So he was starting from the end in mind. And many successful CEOs and many successful leaders start with the end in mind. So why start our funnel here and try, like to figure out where we're going and what we're about to do, and not start with the end in mind? So you put yourself like your financial goal with your digital product launch, and then you say, I have a sales page. And then we want to see how we can create the simplest funnel possible to get started. And then once we have a successful funnel, we can, like split test it with a second one and maybe, like complicate our lives more to grow more. But the thing is, you want to keep things as simple as possible and not simpler, of course, as Albert Einstein was saying. So now you have two options. One option would be to have all your traffic sources towards your sales page, right? This is option number one. So, for example, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Google Ads, right? All these are traffic sources, and all these traffic sources can lead to your sales page. This is the hard way, okay? And the reason is simple. Once you're getting started, people do not appreciate you enough to give you the money. So the easy way would be to have one more step in your process. And that step is to give, like enough value with what we say, with what is called, and you might have already heard it, like a lead magnet. Okay? I've heard the term lead magnet from Ryan Dice from Digital Marketer. It's, a very popular term. As I said before, I don't want to overwhelm you with new terms. And what basically a lead magnet is something that is of enough value for someone to give you their email. So the first transaction on this second, let's say, version of your digital funnel, the first transaction is for someone to give you their email. And I want you now to create a timestamp, and I want you to remember the words that I am about to say. So today is like the beginning of the last quarter of 2021, okay? So if you watch this video like a year or 5 years from now, I don't know, remember what I'm saying right now. It will become so much harder for small businesses to advertise in terms of complexity and in terms of cost, and it will be so much harder to collect emails and have a true valuable asset of your own. You don't own your Facebook page, Facebook does. You don't own your Instagram page, Facebook does. You don't own your YouTube channel, Google does. The only true asset you have is your email list. So whatever you're doing, you better collect valuable, high-value emails, relevant emails, people that you will be delivering value in the weeks and months to come before they become your clients. And this is okay. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. And every time that I broke this pattern, I lost. It's as simple as that. Even back, like in 2009, when, like Facebook and Google were much, much cheaper to advertise, I was still losing because I was breaking, sometimes, I was breaking this pattern. Whenever I invested in the email list first, I got the best returns by far. So now, as you realize, what you're doing is you advertise from all these satellite traffic sources, you advertise towards your lead magnet, okay? So right now, maybe what I'm saying to you is like, I don't know, I'm speaking Chinese right now, or whatever, okay? And you're, of course, apparently you cannot understand Chinese. So the thing is that let's give you like a very simple example. So you create a video on Instagram, okay? You're giving advice about people, how they can get out of obesity and lose weight and go back to the weight that they want to be and the body shape that they want to have and so on. And you create a video about like 3 steps on Instagram, and this is like a 50-second video. At the end of this video, what you're saying is, if you want to know more, you can download my 10-step process, to do this, that, or the other in 4 weeks' time. It's completely free and so on. And your call to action is to go to your lead magnet. Then things can get complicated after that, but now you have their email. And as you have their email, you have the choice when to sell, when to make the second call to action to buy your product. Russell Brunson said once that the best converting funnel is to have the first call to action about selling your product on the email thank you page. So when you give your email, right, and you sign up to download or receive someone's lead magnet, because the lead magnet could be a webinar, it doesn't have to be like a PDF download, and you go to the thank you page, that thank you page could be the first step of selling. I do not recommend that again to do it when you're getting started, simply because, again, you're not credible enough yet. You're not credible enough yet. You will be when people learn from you, when people appreciate you because you give them value and they realize you're not fake, basically. This is the problem, why are people not making the step to, like click the button and buy? It's not because they don't have the money. It's because you're not credible yet. So you want to appreciate this, like this middle step before the sales process. And this lead magnet is what I call in my digital marketing strategy the love part. This is where you only give. You give as much love as possible. And by love, I mean the value that you are, like the expert, or you have great power in delivering. So now we have the traffic sources, and we send all these traffic sources to our lead magnet, and the people who are signing up for our lead magnet and consume our lead magnet become candidates for our digital product, and we can make a call to action to lead them to the sales page. So this is, by the way, if you haven't heard me before, or you haven't, watched the Captain of My Soul challenge, this is what I call meet, love, sell. So by meet is meeting with the right people on the internet. And then we have love, where we produce value to the ones that say yes, And sell is to have a clear and compelling call to action. Meet, love, sell, and that's it. So your mind now, gets out of stress, relaxes a bit, because you realize that all you have to do is these 3 steps. And you can see these 3 steps in another way as well. So basically, your audience, this is how, we all begin with this scarcity mindset. And the challenge is how fast we can get out of this scarcity mindset. So when we ask you in the beginning, like, Angelo, okay, who is your ideal client? I go back and say everyone, like 8 billion people. And of course, this is, a guarantee for failure, because if you think everyone is your client, you cannot actually deliver a message that satisfies everyone, and you will be failing before you've failed before you even began. So what I want you to remember is that you do have, a broad audience, and you have 3 steps, to before you make, your first buck, let's say, before you make your first sale. The first battle, let's say, that you have to win is awareness. So if they don't know you, how on earth can they buy from you, right? The second step is appreciation. Now, they know you. I know Angelo Labru. I know, yes, I do know that he has his daily shots of inspiration. And every morning he sends an email inspiring others. Yeah, I do know all that. But I don't appreciate Angelo yet. Like maybe I know about this. Maybe I've signed up, and I opened a couple of emails, but that's about it. Now I have, like given Angelo the opportunity, and I have read like 7 emails in a row, and I feel more inspired. I feel, like better clarity in what I want to do in my life and so on. So now I appreciate Angelo. And then there's the last step. To appreciate Angelo enough to give him money for his product. This is a whole different level of appreciation, right? This is a whole different level of appreciation. So you might appreciate my daily thoughts of inspiration, but you might not appreciate me enough to give me money for a product, and especially if my sales page is not compelling enough. All right? So this is why I told you before that it is wiser, that from my perspective, from my experience, it is much wiser to focus on collecting high value emails, relevant emails, and giving these people value before you make your first call to action. You need patience and persistence with that process. And you need to make this process as short as possible as well, because the more time, like the greater the gap between signing up and having a call to action, people tend to forget. I have people signing up for my webinars. One day later, they sign off, like they opt out, and, like they give also a reason, spam. I mean, I cannot believe what I see sometimes. Like people signed up a day before, and I have proof and everything, of course. I am from the very first day, I thought, like I will never ever engage in anything like what some internet marketers were doing in the early days and collecting like gazillion emails in a few hours and so on. Nothing with that. But even so, people are, they're so distracted. They have signed up for like 10 webinars and they attend 2. And we have to live with these the law of averages, as Jim Rohn used to say. We have to live with these terms. These are our terms of engagement. These are the rules of our game. This is because the digital plane is less specific. It's not as good as the one, uh, the relationship that we are growing right now. And the thing is, all you want to remember in this like first step, as we conclude, is that your digital funnel has to be simple enough to be always in the top of your mind, and to always remember that all you have to do is these 3 steps: to have a lead magnet, and to have a sales page with a call to action to sell your digital product, and send all your traffic to your lead magnet. Once you have that, then it's time to optimize. And we can share, like many ideas on what you can do, what we call on-page optimization, optimize something on your page, or off-page optimization, like optimizing something on your traffic sources. So that's about it as a next step. I don't want to overwhelm you. As I said before, I am here to give you clarity and power. These two things, more clarity and more power, more elevation. We get clarity with what we learn in the digital marketing plane, and we get power by optimizing our mindset and our heart set, right? So next week, I will give you even more specifics on why this funnel, your first funnel, is so important and what to do to start, like to jumpstart your success with it. Ciao, ciao.